Well, hello there, and a very warm welcome to you. I am the author of Guitarra Fácil para Todos, and I have to say, this is one of my absolute favorite moments to share with you. Today, we're diving deep into Chapter 9, which is fittingly titled The Magic Arrives. You know, when I first sat down to write this book, this specific chapter was the one I simply couldn't wait to put onto the page. It represents a monumental shift in our journey together. We are moving out of the purely mechanical phase of learning and stepping into something far more profound. So, get yourself comfortable, make sure your guitar is nearby, and let's properly unpack what it means to finally reach this remarkable stage of your playing. Step inside, won't you? Take a seat, right here in the studio with me. If you just close your eyes for a brief moment, you can almost smell it, can't you? That rich, earthy scent of aged cedar, mahogany, and rosewood just lingering in the air of this room. We've reached a truly pivotal moment in our time together. As the book says, after the storm comes the calm. And after the debacle comes the magic. Let's speak quite intimately about that storm for a moment. I know firsthand the profound frustrations of those early learning stages. I know the stark reality of the debacle. Those brutal initial weeks when the sharp bite of steel strings literally tore into uncalloused fingertips. Those endless afternoons spent desperately trying to form an open D chord, only to find the fleshy part of your finger muting the high E string, resulting in a dull, lifeless thud instead of a ringing note. It was chaotic, wasn't it? It was physically demanding and, frankly, quite exhausting. But here's the brilliant part. You weathered it. You didn't abandon the endeavor when it got difficult. And now, because of that sheer persistence, you have crossed a beautiful threshold. The air is clearing, the storm is finally breaking. And that immense, heavy relief you're feeling right now, that is the exact space where the magic is finally permitted to enter. Okay, let's take a proper look back and reflect upon the path you have carved out with your own two hands. We're looking at moving with rhythm, changing chords, listening to nuances, and above all else, never giving up. I want you to actually visualize your hands physically wrestling with the fretboard during those demanding early days. In the beginning, keeping a steady rhythm while simultaneously transitioning between unfamiliar chord shapes felt akin to the complex, completely separate coordination required to drive a manual motor car for the very first time. It was as if your hands and your mind were pulling in entirely opposite directions. Changing from a C major to a G major felt like impossible gymnastic leap. And let's not even mention the notorious F chord bar, which likely felt like an insurmountable wall of physical resistance. But slowly, painstakingly, you trained your muscles. You began to listen, not just to the notes themselves, but to the subtle, vital spaces between them. You built resilient calluses, and not just on the tips of your fingers, but upon your spirit. Every single stumble, every dropped beat, every buzzing string, it was all absolutely necessary to bring you to the very chair you're sitting in right now. All of that physical and mental endurance, all of that grit, leads us directly to this singular, exquisite reality, the moment the guitar begins to truly sound. This isn't just a slight improvement. It's a visceral, fundamental shift. It's the exact moment when you cease to be a person clumsily operating a mechanical device made of wood and wire. Instead, you begin to genuinely understand the physics of acoustic resonance. When your fingers strike the strings with confidence now, that vibration travels downwards. It transfers through the saddle and the bridge, driving the soundboard, the very top of the guitar, into motion. Suddenly, there is warmth. The chords ring out with a sustained golden resonance that you can actually feel vibrating against your own chest as you hold the acoustic body close to you. You transition from executing dry, mechanical, rudimentary exercises to creating actual sonic beauty, filled with rich tonal color. The guitar, quite simply, stops fighting you. It yields. It resonates. The sound ceases to be mere noise and transforms into music. Let me tell you, it is an incredibly rewarding sensation of genuine arrival. But as with all great leaps forward, this beautiful new reality comes with a strict new set of rules. In the past, during the earlier chapters of our journey, I allowed for small imprecisions. In fact, I expected them. If your instrument was slightly out of tune whilst you desperately tried to memorize the awkward shape of a D minor chord, I completely forgave it. The priority back then was purely biomechanical. I needed you to focus entirely on learning shapes, finger placements, and strumming patterns without being paralyzed by the pursuit of absolute sonic perfection. It would have been too much cognitive load. But, my friend, we have now crossed a firm boundary. The present demands far more of you. There is no turning back from this point. From this chapter forward, perfect tuning is absolutely required. We are no longer merely exercising our hands and building muscle memory. We are making art. And as I'm sure you know, art requires a pristine canvas. The book states quite clearly, the guitar is going to sing with you, and if it is not tuned, the magic disappears. I really must emphasize the profound fragility of this newfound magic. You see, the magic we speak of is the delicate illusion of harmony. It is that wonderful suspension of disbelief that allows raw, vibrating sound waves to evoke deep, complex human emotion. When you strike a perfectly tuned chord, it's like a chorus of angels. It's pure emotion. But consider, for instance, the notorious G string. It is so often the most rebellious and volatile string on an acoustic guitar, constantly catching in the nut or reacting to the slightest tension change. If that single string is even imperceptibly sharp, it acts as an absolute poison to the entire chord. You could fret a beautiful, complex E minor shape perfectly, but that one rogue frequency will make the entire chord sound dreadful, sour, and completely unresolved. A poorly tuned string shatters the illusion instantly. It brings you crashing straight back down to earth, completely undermining all the hard-earned progress and the emotional connection you've spent weeks building. We simply cannot allow carelessness to destroy the magic we have worked so incredibly hard to summon. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how we need to completely flip a common misconception on its head. Far too many beginners view tuning as a chore. They see it as a mechanical, boring, secondary task, a rather tedious toll they must pay before they can reach the enjoyable part of actually playing. I need you to banish that thought from your mind entirely, right now. Tuning is not a chore. It is the very first act of respect to your instrument. It is a profound philosophical cornerstone of your musicality. Think about it. When you turn those machine heads, you are directly acknowledging the exquisite craftsmanship of the luthier who carefully selected, carved, and sanded the wood. You are paying homage to the tight, resonant grain of the Sitka spruce top and the dense, sturdy mahogany of the neck. You are acknowledging the delicate nature of the mechanical tension that gives the instrument its very life. It is a ritual of preparation, a necessary clearing of the mind, and a vital demonstration of reverence for the art form you are about to engage in. Which naturally brings us to the quiet, almost sacred acknowledgement you make every single time you sit down to play. We are going to make music together. I invite you to spend a significant moment reflecting deeply on this. Notice the pronoun carefully, we, not I. You do not command the acoustic guitar, you collaborate with it. It is a living, breathing thing that responds to humidity, to temperature, and to your touch. When you lean in close to hear the pitch, when you feel the sympathetic resonance and the tight mechanical tension of the strings humming against your thumb as you adjust the tuning peg, you are actively aligning your intentions with the physical reality of the instrument. You are making a silent pact. You are telling the guitar that you will listen to it, that you will care for it, and in return, you ask that it shares its unique voice with you. It is a true partnership. And like any true partnership in life, it requires absolute, uncompromised harmony to function effectively.
So I am asking you right now, in a calm but very serious tone, pause your forward momentum. Just stop for a moment. We live in a world that is constantly rushing, don't we? Constantly demanding that we advance to the next level, the next quick achievement, the upcoming stages of this series. But I promise you, the guitar does not care about our modern impatience. The guitar operates entirely on its own ancient acoustic time. Take your time. Properly review your instrument. Literally feel the temperature of the neck resting in the palm of your hand. Feel the resistance in the machine heads as you turn them. Check the condition of the strings, and most importantly, check the tuning. Deliberate, methodical care is the hallmark of a true musician. Do not rush blindly into the next exercise just to tick a box and say you've done it. Slow down. Ground yourself completely in the present moment. Prepare your instrument with the exact same patience of a master craftsman, meticulously sharpening his tools before a long day's labor.
To ensure we are absolutely 100% clear, the mandate for this chapter is laid out in 3 highly actionable steps. Step 1, stop and take your time. Step 2, reread chapter 3 of our book. Step 3, tune perfectly before continuing. I am providing these steps deliberately and quite forcibly because I need you to understand that skipping this process is simply not an option if you wish to succeed in the coming lessons. If you attempt to forge ahead with an instrument that is out of tune, you are essentially building a house upon a crooked foundation. Think of the delicate muscle memory and ear training you've developed in the earlier chapters. If you continually practice out of tune, your ear gradually develops a tolerance for dissonance. This is a terrible, highly destructive habit to form. You are effectively training your brain to accept falsehoods as truth. It will inevitably collapse into a mess of frustration down the line. Do the diligent, careful work right now so you can reap the glorious musical rewards in the very next moment. Now, if you feel a bit out of practice, or if you simply require a gentle refresher, please remember that everything you need is already right there in your hands. I want to remind you of the specific resources we have already covered together. Return to the book. Go back to Chapter 3, The Art of Tuning, Making 6 Rebellious Strings Agree. I've always favored that phrase, rebellious strings, because they truly do possess a mind of their own, constantly reacting to subtle shifts in temperature, the humidity in your room, and the very pressure of your fingers. You must patiently, firmly coax them into agreement. You can revisit the physical pages of the book, feeling the paper under your fingers, or if you prefer visual guidance, you can pull up the video tutorials provided earlier on our channel. In those, we sit together and I demonstrate exactly how to bring those stubborn strings into perfect, harmonious alignment. Use the tools I have given you. Cement the connection between the theory written in the text and the practical application on your fretboard. And so, my friend, we arrive at the precipice. Listen closely to the silence in your room right now. Feel the reassuring weight of the guitar resting against your body. If you have followed my instructions today, if you have shown your instrument the profound respect it deserves, then your guitar is now perfectly, beautifully in tune. The wood is waiting patiently. The strings are primed, full of potential, and ready to sing. All the clumsy mechanics, all the early frustrations, all the painful debacles of the past are firmly, definitively behind you. The stage is truly set for you. I leave you with this final, vital question. Now that you are ready, are you prepared to create actual magic in the next stage of our journey? If the answer is yes, and I sincerely hope it is, then do not wait a moment longer. Turn the page, follow me into the next lesson, and let us continue this beautiful endeavor straight away with the series El Método. Your guitar is ready. The real question is, what will you choose to say with it?